It really does feel like the UFC and just MMA world in general is on fire right now, Blake. I think you can open up Twitter every other like 5 minutes and just see some new story pop up, right?
Yeah, and it's nice that they're like the one sports company that the coronavirus seems to not super affect
Knock on
it.
wood. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, yes,
Knock on
sir.
wood. We've only
But
had that. I mean, the light heavyweight contender, number one contender match scrapped twice now.
yeah, I mean, really, for the most part, it seems like they catch it so quickly,
Hmm.
and they just have so many, uh, you know, plans just in cases, I guess you could
Oh yeah,
say.
the UC's
So
been killing it. Also, that ESPN Plus documentary on like behind the scenes of Fight Island, that was amazing. You should
yeah,
go
I saw
check.
there's 4 episodes, right? Declassified. Are you talking
Yeah,
about
I
on
saw the
ESPN
first one.
Plus?
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't watched.
it's honestly the only reason to have ESPN Plus.
Yeah, they got some cool little like the detail that Daniel Cormier does every now and then, kind of like what Kobe used to do.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
they got some good stuff right there. But where we're mostly on Twitter, we've seen a lot of this Israel Adesanya, John Jones back and forth going on. We'll talk about that along with what Izzy said after his UFC 253 performance about penalizing fighters more for missing weight. Tony Ferguson has some few options, and he is still being active over the social media kind of realms. GSP had some talks, and I guess he's looking for a Khabib fight now. I have no idea. We're going to preview Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Moraes. Mike Perry and Darren Till is the duo that I never knew I wanted until now. In fact, I need them. Also, just everything going on with Conor McGregor. We're going to break it down and determine fact from fiction with this one. But Blake, UFC correspondent Blake Campbell, right here with us. He is back. It's good to have you back on the show, Blake.
oh yeah, always good to be here. Talk some UFC with you.
Oh yeah, and of course I'm your host Ross Allen. You can catch us at www.thefourthandlong.com. Let's get into things, Blake. So this Israel Adesanya and John Jones beef, of course, has been stewing for a better part of a year now. Between just back and forth, talking about possible fight in 2021. Then over the last couple of weeks, it's picked up a lot more, especially after Izzy's win, dominating win over Paulo Costa. And it's gone a little personal. It's gone a little weird. And I thought it was funny. Now I'm just kind of over it, to be honest.
Really, I'm not really too bothered by the trash talk. I mean, I do agree it was a little weird how personal they're getting.
I mean, talk about his
Um,
dead mom, and that's
yeah, but I mean, it's war. That's just kind of what happens. You just kind of go through things like that, and you got to just kind of you got to deal with some punches and take some punches every now and then, especially in the kind of build up to fights. But yeah, I think that the Adesanya and Jones beef is kind of peculiar to me, I guess you could say, because usually when guys have this much heat, the fight is on the horizon, and
mm-hmm.
with this one, there's no telling.
Well, presumably Izzy's next fight is going to be the winner of Robert Whitaker and Jared Cannonier. Honestly, I'm hoping for Jared Cannonier, not because
Honestly,
I
I
want.
think it might just be Jared Cannonier. Even if Whitaker wins, do you think they'll give him a rematch?
Uh I that's
Because
the
then
only
at that
option.
point, you have
It
Darren Till and Hermanson fighting. What if Till beats him?
It depends
I think he
on
jumps.
it depends on the virtue of the win. If Darren Till dismantles Hermanson, I could see that. If he just barely wins, and depends on how Robert Whitaker wins. But ultimately, to be honest, I see Jared Cannonier winning this, and I see him gain the next title shot anyway. But I, that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping
That's gonna
for
be a sick fight, though, man. My God.
Cannonier and Whitaker. That
Yeah,
is a instant barn burner. That's 17 days away, Blake.
it's
17
crazy.
days away as we're recording
That's on
this.
254, right?
That's
Yeah.
254 with Gaethje and Habib Nurmagomedov.
Yep.
17 days away as of recording.
Calvillo's on that card fighting Lauren Murphy. We got Walt Harris making a return against Volkov. There's some good fights on there.
I'm so excited. I
Habib's
am.
little brother gets his debut, right?
That's
And I think in
right.
the bantamweight, I think he's like one of the first fights. I think he is the first fight on the early prelims.
Ooh, it's going to be a glorious, glorious Saturday.
It's gonna be fun.
I think this Izzy and Jones beef. It's weird with honestly, I think John Jones has been winning this. Izzy's gotten a couple good shots in, but overall, Jones is a little more experienced on this, for
Yeah, I
being
mean, like
honest.
Jones is literally not lost. Like there's nothing that you could. The only thing that Adesanya could really attack him for is his personal issues, which I think
Hmm.
is kind of a little suspect. But I mean, it's John made those choices, so it is public
Yeah.
answer for that. That's just when you're a public figure, or I mean, I guess you call UFC fighters public figures, but professional athlete, public figure, whatever you want to call them,
Hmm.
air quotes.
Right.
Uh,
So
you
what?
know,
I
that's
I
just what you
guess
got to
this
deal
fight
with. People are going to
happens.
bring your problems up and to the light, and you're
Mhm.
going to have to answer for them, and you're going to have to just take that crap. And I think he's done a really good job of saying, yeah, you know what,
Yeah.
I do occasionally do cocaine and blah blah blah, but I'm still undefeated,
Yeah.
and I would still whip your ass.
For all of his downfalls, John Jones, at the least, he doesn't run away from his past. So that's something that I could respect that. I don't respect the actions, but I could respect him owning up to it. The thing is, though, is now the time for them to fight? Should we even care about Jaron Cannonier or any of the other middleweight contenders? Is it
If
time just to go to this fight?
if you're thinking dollar signs like I think Dana White does, 24/7, there's no other fight to make. Izzy and John Jones, there's no other fight. I mean, really. But the only question is now, has how hard has John Jones been prepping for a heavyweight? Like that's really the
Hmm.
only monkey wrench kind of getting thrown in these plans, because John's gonna go either challenge Ngannou or Stipe, whoever has that heavyweight belt, because that's
Yep.
another piece of hardware that's like huge. Izzy, I mean, he's almost gotten to the point to like a super dominant, like not going to be beat champion, but I still think he needs like another one or two wins to get to that
I think a
Silva
Jared
level.
Cannonier win would cement him.
Yeah. And so that's what I'm saying. Like it could be the Jared, like after the Jared Cannonier fight, but then again, that's another 6-ish months down the line, probably at
Yeah,
least.
at
And
least.
at that point, like John Jones probably going to be fighting heavyweight.
I mean, the soonest you can make that fight. So if they're fighting in about 2 weeks, give or take. Cannonier, assuming he doesn't take too much damage, which is unlikely, against a guy like the Reaper. You give him 4 months between fights, maybe like a month off, and then 3 months of camp at least. We're saying at least it's going to be 4 months away, and by then, might be better just to pull the plug on John Jones. But at that point, too, what weight class is this? Is this going to be fought at light heavyweight? Are we going to see a catchweight fight, maybe
Right.
195 pounds? Where do you
That
think
would be
this
the
this is?
that would be the big question. I think that it would have to take place at light heavyweight. I just think that that's kind of the ball's kind of in John Jones's court,
Mm,
because what purpose does John Jones have of challenging Adesanya? Adesanya is really the guy that's been challenging John Jones the whole time, because that's kind
mhm,
of reaching for the stars, right? You're reaching
exactly.
for the guy that's always going to,
The
you
goat.
know, the GOAT, right? You want to get to that status. So, I mean, John Jones, not saying that fighting Izzy is like a step down in competition or anything like that, but it is on the surface level of just analyzing like fight matchups. You'd just be like, why? Like you
Exactly.
you have you have bigger fish to fry, literally, with Stipe and Ngannou. Probably make a little more money with championships on the line. Because I mean,
Hmm.
what's going to be on the line with Adesanya and John Jones? It's just going to be a star fight, like just a big
Maybe maybe
Nate
at
Diaz
that
versus
point it
McGregor.
might just be the first loss there. But besides that, it's more of Israel Adesanya having a lot to gain and not as much to lose, whereas John Jones is flipped. He
I
has a
think it's
lot.
just he has a lot to prove,
Hmm.
but not really a lot to gain,
Mm,
because he would still be proven. It's kind of like
yeah.
it's a win-win. I feel like for
Hmm.
Adesanya, but for John Jones, it's for sure a
I think this
win-lose.
whole feud, though, I kind of disagree with it, at least with how early it got. I agree. I disagree with what Izzy's doing more because we've heard in all the promos and all of his interviews that he wants to be that middleweight guy. He wants someone that has beat everyone,
Mhm.
and he's trying to start something with a guy out of his weight class before he's handled everyone in the middleweight division. He's beat one guy for the title, and now he's defended his belt twice. That's not a cemented legacy. So his focus should not even be on John Jones. Honestly, you know, He should be focusing on every single middleweight contender, whether it be Cannonier, Till, Hermanson, all those top guys before he moves on to something else.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see him fight Cannonier for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, a Till fight would just be cherry on top. That would just be, I mean, just imagine if they were able to have a press conference, all that stuff, like the shit talk would be unreal. Oh my
Hopefully
goodness.
by that point, we will be able to have all this. I mean, they had the press conference for 253, luckily.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Dana White's getting everything back going together. So I think I love the future of the middleweights.
Yeah, well, I like what Dana's been doing lately too. Like how I don't think it was for last week's. It might have been the week before. Remember how he put the kind of like the undercard of the main event.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it was
to
the
promote
Cowboy
them
fight
instead of everyone else.
Yeah,
I
like he had
that was
Hamzat up there, all those like up and coming studs, and then obviously Cowboy is still a legend.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Price, all those guys. I thought it was a cool move by Dana White and the UFC to put those guys up there and give them some shine.
Yeah, no, I really respected that. And if you're trying to build stars, what better way to do it than there?
Right.
Everything starts in the press conference. How do you think Conor McGregor gained most of his popularity? By
right.
saying,
I mean, you
by saying the magic words.
Who the fuck is that guy? Oh, I still use that GIF weekly, bro.
It's honestly top 5 MMA moments, and it didn't even happen inside the octagon. How are you going to not only knock someone out, but end someone's career, not even in the cage?
Dude, I mean,
Jeremy Stevens, bro.
Yeah, that was rough. Oh. I was like embarrassed for Jeremy on that day.
Gotta feel for him. But kind of piggybacking off talking about Israel Adesanya, one of the things he was talking about after his teammate lost earlier on the UFC 253 card to a fighter that missed weight by like 3 or 4 pounds, you get a good how much exactly of your purse is taken away?
It's like it kind of depends. I think it can be anywhere from 20 to 30%. I think 30% is egregious 30.
Though. And then after that, you had Izzy talking about how it's BS and that it should be more. He's saying like 90%. I think that's a little too far, but I understand this.
I see his logic. I mean, but dude, you have a contracted weight that you're supposed to show up on. Like you should be penalized pretty tough.
Yeah.
You should be penalized pretty freaking tough. Because I mean, imagine like just in a regular workplace, if you have a set expectation that your manager, your boss, whoever's in control of you at your job tells you that you have to show up wearing a red shirt. I don't know. And you show up wearing a blue shirt just because you've wanted to wear a blue shirt, like dude, and you didn't even try to wear a red shirt. That's the main thing is he didn't even try.
I think the
4 pounds, bro, that's crazy.
That's not even close. I understand like if you miss it by a pound, you miss it by half a pound. That's forgivable in a lot of cases, but 4 pounds and he weighed in 90 minutes before the deadline too, and didn't even try again.
Disrespectful.
Yeah. That right there is BS. I would say more 60-70% with that, but an increased penalty for missing weight. Not a couple of things that it would cause is for fighters to be more likely to fight in their weight class and to not have these extreme weight cuts. Because if you're really trying to cut down, like giving like Cody Garbrandt trying to move to the flyweights, that's not going to be an easy weight cut for him. I think we all know that. Or just I'll just use it as an example. That's the closest thing on the top of my head, but it will dissuade guys from trying to cut too much weight and trying to go down too far in a weight class. Because if they miss it, not only are they going to have a bunch of health issues from trying to cut all that weight, they're also not going to get almost anything from their fight contract. So I think that is a unintended consequence that would actually be positive. Kind of closer to what ONE FC does with their hydration test to make sure everyone is fighting at a healthy weight, or at least a healthier weight,
Yeah. I mean, 90% sounds a little crazy. I think there might be other solutions. Like what if you took because you know how the UFC, I think they're contractually obligated to offer, depending on the contract, obviously, like a set number of fights to each fighter per year.
So what if you just fight?
Yeah, what if you just took away one fight that they're going to offer them? That could be huge, because then not only are you losing out on your show money, but potentially win money, bonus money as well. Like you're not getting anything
Ranking
from
and
that.
like also
Ranking
rankings
improvement.
too.
Also,
Rankings
you're
free
not going to get
money.
exposure. You're not going to get any type of, TV time, nothing. So
Yeah, I do think 89. I like a 60, close to 70. Blake, that's a great idea right there. But I do agree with the sentiment that missing weight, especially by the egregious ones, like 3, 4 pounds, there needs to be a bigger punishment for that because
yeah,
it's not fair to the other fighter. And also, it's hard for them to like just decline the fight at that point. That's tough because that's a lot of money right there too.
mhm.
And then it's like I see something like 80, 90% of the time that a fighter missed
Yeah,
weight, the fighter that missed weight wins the fight.
right. And as a fighter who just spent hella money on a freaking fight camp, you're not going to
Hmm.
freaking decline that fight most of the time.
No,
Unless you're in a position where you're like, yeah, I'm chilling, I have enough money and I'm, near the
unless you're like a
title.
top 10 guy.
Yeah, then you could pick and choose. But if you're a guy coming up, no one's going to decline a fight. They're going to
No.
say, yeah, whatever, give me 20%, 30%, don't care. Still going to go out there and beat this guy's ass. Most of the time they don't though.
Hmm.
So
It's
it's a tough one, man. It's a tough. And I do feel there are some weight cuts. I know there's some weight cuts out there that shit does happen. But
mhm.
it's like, man, this is the top. This is the top of the top,
Yeah.
You need to be professional. You need to have, there's a performance institute for a reason that the UFC has for all
Hey,
fighters to
everything's in
use.
Vegas right now. Take advantage of it.
Like there's in my opinion, there shouldn't be too many excuses,
No, no, there's almost never an excuse for this. There does need to be change. Next on the card, talking about Tony Ferguson. Recently, we had some contract disputes when it comes to pay, and when they're trying to put together what would have been a banger between Tony Ferguson and Dustin Poirier.
Right.
Everyone would have loved that fight. They couldn't come to terms with money because Dustin Poirier won them more. Even had Tony Ferguson going out and advocating on
Right.
behalf of Poirier to get more money, which is something we never see.
That's cool though. That's cool
Oh.
that they're sticking together, and I hope it doesn't come to bite them in the butt in any way.
I don't think they're too high profile, to be
Mm-hmm.
honest. But there's been some opportunities that have come up recently. We talked about Nick Diaz a few weeks ago, possibly likely making his return to the octagon next year. Ferguson has expressed interest in a Nick Diaz fight at welterweight. I mean, Ferguson says a lot of things. Does he actually do it? Honestly, wouldn't put it past him, but he's talking about moving up to welterweight, even middleweight. That's a bit of a stretch for me, but I could see moving him to welterweight for a fight with Nick Diaz.
The middleweight thing has me scratching my head, dude.
Right.
Welterweight, I mean, even welterweight, there's gonna be some big ass, like, dude, Hamza is a welterweight.
Yeah.
Half the time.
I don't know if Tony's big enough for the welterweights.
I don't think he is, dude. He's all skin and bones, it seems like to me. He's all sharp edges.
Well, why do you think he's able to cut people? It's some
That's what I'm
bones sticking
saying.
out, bro.
Exactly. I think lightweight's perfect for him. He just needs to not do 2 weight cuts in a freaking matter of a week, and just take care of himself a little better.
What do you think about this Nick Diaz fight, though?
I mean, I don't know. I'd like Nick Diaz doesn't need to go and fight killers his first fight back,
It's a bad fight for Nick.
Dude's been out for how many freaking several years? 5, I want to say. I think
Yeah.
Silva was his last fight, wasn't it? I think Anderson
so.
Silva in 2015 was his last fight.
Damn.
I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty positive that's when he got suspended and shit.
Yeah,
for
no,
weed.
there's no way Nick Diaz comes back to the UFC after this long of a layoff to one of the best strikers.
I mean, the people that I was more thinking is Carlos Condit. He already expressed interest in having a rematch. He won the first one.
He got his win last weekend.
Robbie Lawler, they could run it back. I mean, I just want to kind of give him a dude that's like from the old era, or like maybe, I don't know. I just don't want to feed him to a wolf yet. Like let's see if he looks legit still, and then if he looks legit still, yes, shoot him right up to the top.
Yeah.
But man, let's just see.
You gotta take it light the first one. A fight that I would honestly love to see. How is this for a welcome to the UFC? Michael Chandler against Tony Ferguson.
Yeah, I'm all with that, dude. I'm all with that.
Yes.
I'm all with that. Because I mean, If Poirier
That's one hell of a
and
prove it fight, right? For Michael Chandler.
if Poirier is not going to take the fight, then I think Chandler's a great option. I don't think Conor's going to be fighting anytime this year. We'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, really, like, who else is in the top right now?
The new guy to the town, the former
Chandler, that's a
Bellator
great
champion.
one. Because if he wins, then he legitimizes himself. If Tony wins, he's right back in the in the mix again.
If
he's
he wins,
number 2 contender, number 3.
exactly. He could get a championship opportunity off of beating Michael Chandler. He can. Chandler,
yeah, because he still hasn't fought Khabib.
Exactly.
He lost to Gaethje. He didn't lose to Khabib.
Dana still wants that fight as well.
Everyone does.
So I'm glad to see that. But
especially if Ferguson has a fight and looks really good in that, mm-hmm. like say he fights Chandler and looks great, beats his ass. Mm-hmm. Hell yeah, he's right back at the top.
Exactly. Or on the other hand, Michael Chandler, your first fight in the UFC against the cream of the crop is against one of the
El Kukui,
the guy that went on a 12-fight win streak. The guy
13, right? Wasn't it 13? I thought it got stopped at 13.
It stopped pretty bad by Gaethje, whatever it was, but
stopped via CTE. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh boy. But Michael Chandler, former Bellator champion. There's a lot of people that do not believe in Bellator. There's a lot of people that believe Bellator it will never be UFC's level. What better way is a former champion for Michael Chandler to step into the UFC first fight against a highly renowned striker, a guy that bloodies everyone. And if you beat him, you may very well be in line to either have one more fight or you could get a championship opportunity off of this one.
That could definitely, if you beat Tony, that could be a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
Mm-hmm. So both these guys have a lot to gain if they win this fight against each other.
If that fight gets scheduled in May, we'll see.
I think this is the one to make, even if Poirier can happen. Assuming the fight with Poirier can't happen, Michael Chandler is a fight to make.
What if I mean, man, like out of these three options, mm-hmm. Chandler, Poirier, McGregor, who would be the best fight for Tony Ferguson?
For Tony, you mean the most winnable or the funnest?
Who would you want to see Tony Ferguson fight the most out of those three options?
I want to see Dustin Poirier.
You want to see Poirier versus Ferguson?
That's going to be a gladiator fight, man. But on the other hand, I would like to see McGregor because personally, I think Tony would kick the hell out of McGregor.
So, I wouldn't oppose either of those fights. Like, I mean, I'd love to see him rematch Poirier, and I'd love to see him fight Conor for the first. Or I'm sorry, I'd love to see Conor rematch Poirier, or I'd love to see him fight Tony for the first time. I mean,
and then Michael Chandler.
And Michael Chandler's a sick fight too. I mean, there's so many. They could go any way with that, but the biggest thing is who's going to sign on the dotted line, and I think Chandler probably gives you the biggest chance.
Yeah, he's making more money in UFC now than he was in Bellator. Maybe not including sponsorships because Bellator can actually have some sponsorships on the shorts. They're not owned by Reebok. Thank God Venom's coming back next year, so that's going to be a welcome
I wonder how that changes things, though.
Do you think we get the eyes on the butts of the fighters on their shorts again?
It's probably going to be on like the kneecaps type area. I would think like on the thighs.
Hey, that's a whole different story, but hopefully with the Venom deal, they bring back personal sponsorships for the fighters.
Yeah, that'd be really nice.
I need to see Brock Lesnar with the Jimmy John sponsors again. Okay, that's why.
I really feel bad for the fighters that they don't get that.
Yes. I think the Venom deal is a great step in the right direction.
Imagine Derek Lewis
maybe Venom is the guy to actually give the camo shorts.
Derek Lewis would have the greatest sponsors, man.
Oh my gosh.
He'd have like Manscaped, some ball deodorant. My balls was hot.
Hey, and then Bryce.
He has some
Venom,
sweet sponsors. Dude, Bryce would have like some composite bows, some compound bows or whatever sponsors.
Hey,
hunting agencies.
Nonetheless, Blake, at least when Venom takes over, they better do the right thing and give Bryce Mitchell his camo shorts, okay? Give him the camo shorts. Because Reebok isn't cool enough for that.
He's finally gotten some camo gear that he's selling for his merch. He should have it for the next fight.
He should. He 100% should.
Isn't that on the Halloween card too?
I think it is.
This versus Feely, dude. That's gonna be a freaking fight right there.
Mm. Hey,
You know
I
how
know
I like both of them,
we're
bro.
getting a little off track, but if we want to talk about good fights, what about the fight in 10 days?
Which one is that? Excuse my
Ooh.
chihuahua.
Oh, it's okay. The Chihuahua is okay. See, but that fight is going to be damn, I walked myself into the corner because it should be not the Sandhagen, but Brian Ortega
That
and
okay.
Korean
Yeah,
Zombie.
I literally was saying this last night. Like I had the same look on my face and everything
Ooh.
because I always type up like once per week. I do UFC upcoming fights just to check out like the next 3 fight cards coming up.
Yep.
I did that yesterday and I was like, oh my god, I forgot about this, dude. This is
It's
insanity.
gonna be so good.
I don't care about any other
Oh,
fight on that card. I mean, I'm sure there's great fights on there, but
Jimmy Crute on the main card.
literally just want to see Korean Zombie and Brian Ortega throw down because that's been festering for like a year
Over a
at
year.
least.
Hey, if,
When did
oh,
he slap that K-pop guy Brian
oh,
Ortega?
did we?
When was that?
I remember when Jalen was still talking UFC with us. How we were all talking about how you can't talk trash about K-pop. This was months ago at this point.
Dude, I was gonna say, was that this year or was that last year? Because it seems
I
like a
was
long
early
time
this year.
ago.
I don't know. This year's been weird.
It was back
Uh,
when you could still have crowds, obviously.
yeah, right. I don't
So
know.
at least
There's some
before March.
hey, there's some good stuff coming up. Next
Yes.
thing is since the card after that, of course, is going to be 254, Khabib and Gaethje, as we alluded to. If you want to talk a little about Khabib Nurmagomedov, GSP had a interview with ESPN, and now we all know back and forth. We're all talking about this fight for the goat. GSP, Khabib, who would win? Fantasy fight that Dana White is even interested in making real. But we've also had like for a couple months now, just GSP going, yeah, I like retirement. I want to stay retired. I'm not interested and stuff like that. Now he comes out and says that he is interested in this fight. And I personally don't like him going back and forth like this. It's not only annoying for the fans, it's annoying for the promotion, and it's annoying for the fighters.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think I was telling you this before we even
Mm-hmm.
started. I think it's just kind of GSP's way to stay, relevant, stay in the headlines.
The GSP with hair, I swear every time I see that, it throws me off so much. GSP
I didn't
should
know he
not
could.
have
I didn't know
hair.
he could do that.
Dude, stay bald, please. You look so much better. Not many people could claim that too, that they look better bald.
Right. I mean, yeah. If that's the case, you should just own it, Mister Clean.
Hey, that's the look right there. What do you think about this, though, Blake? Is this fight really a reality? And even if it is, do you care at the end of the day?
Yeah, I'd love to see the fight. I would love to see GSP and Habib like two, if they were both motivated to the highest
Mhm.
degree and really wanted to go out there and prove that they could
Which I
beat the other
think they
guy.
would be.
Yeah, then I would be down to see that fight because I mean I think they both have similar styles and it would be cool to see. It would be cool to see who could dominate the other
Mhm.
because they're basically going to have the same game plan.
Right? With they both have decent striking, but it's all about the wrestling. All about the
Grappling, yep.
wrestling. See, the thing is, though, it would be a tremendous fight, both historically and just what we see in terms of action. But Blake, I'm just going to say it. I don't want to see this fight for the reason I don't think it will prove anything at the end of the day. We'll see a prime Khabib Nurmagomedov against a retired and out of the game for years now, GSP. I don't think it's going to be much of a competition. I think Khabib takes this one, and I'm not sure if it's close. I'm not sure if it's close, and I don't. Too many times we
You
see
talking about
fighters,
between GSP, you think?
yeah, too many
Okay, just
times
make it.
with retired fighters. Too many times we see guys retire, unretire. With Chuck Liddell being one of the worst cases of this, and the old guy just gets their ass whooped, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a legend have their legacy tainted by going back into the fight game when they shouldn't. So while I say that this would be if this fight was booked, hell yes, I'm going to be watching it. I'm going to be invested in it. But do I think it's even worth to have this fight? No, I don't.
Hmm. I don't know. I think, like I said, if they're motivated and they want to fight, why not? Because I think GSP is still. How old is GSP? He's not even. He's not 40 or anything yet, is he?
I mean, the baldness kind of made it look bad. The hair makes him look younger. He's a ripe age of 39.
39.
So
Wow.
he's
Very,
right there.
very, very close.
Right there. If they get this fight before
Wow.
May, he'll still be 39.
And Khabib is 32.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think GSP is kind of at that Daniel Cormier level, in my opinion, though, where he's going to be a stud, like no matter what weight class, no matter what the and that's another thing too that I actually forgot to take in account too, is it's probably going to be a lightweight fight if they do fight. So that's going to be a completely new division, I think, for GSP, right?
I think they would have to meet a welterweight. I think they could meet, they should meet a welterweight because we have to remember Khabib is a big fighter and he does have a decent weight cut to make the lightweight. So I'm seeing this fight happen in welterweight.
I think it'd have to be for a belt though, so they'd probably still keep it at lightweight.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. That might be a tough weight cut for GSP. We've seen him have the issues in the past with the what's it the ulcerative colitis with his like pretty much like stomach ulcers and stuff like that.
Oh, I didn't even know anything about that.
Yeah, he talked about it in one of the JREs he was on, how he was having issues with weight cuts because his intestines were jacked up from this disease. So,
Shoot.
yeah. Well, man, I just want to find out soon if it's going to be yes or no. We're probably going to find out soon, after 17 days from now.
Yeah, I'd say pretty soon after the Gaethje fight, we'll see which way that's heading.
Hey, but if I'm Dana White, all I hear is cha-ching, because damn, that is going to sell some pay-per-views.
Oh yeah,
and easily. That's another thing. Promoting that fight is going to be the easiest thing ever. It's for the GOAT, pretty much. It's for the GOAT. And it's all if Gaethje's already possibly ruined one fight with Ferguson and Khabib. Gaethje may very well ruin another fight.
Gaethje versus GSP.
Gaethje wins.
There's no way you'd sign that.
No, he's not coming out of retirement for brain damage. He might come out of retirement to get tapped out. He's not coming out of retirement to get knocked out. There's a difference right there. That's for sure. And now, Blake, let's talk about some action for this upcoming Saturday's card, with the main event being between Corey Sandhagen and Marlon Moraes. This has the potential to be just absolutely phenomenal of a fight.
Yeah, and I think that co-main is badass. I love the Edson Barboza versus Makwan Amirkhani fight.
That's a good one.
I want to say Edson Barboza stepped in for somebody. I can't remember who he replaced.
But Barboza, I forget exactly. But I'm also looking forward to a little Ben Rothwell action right there.
Ben Rothwell is going to be a good one against Tabura. Hope he's kind of on a skid though. I think Tabura.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see.
Impa Kanesagne, 8-0 fighter at the middleweights. He's going to have his Fight Island debut, I do believe. And
dude, that Daukus buy is back.
Oh, it's back. Yes.
Chris Daukus, dude.
Yes.
Dude, that guy's a stud. He got to knock out his last fight.
It's going to be a fun one. But how do you see the main event going? Because Corey Sandhagen took his first loss in the UFC, then he was placed into a main event slot against for a bantamweight. Marlon Moraes has some really
It was such a weird loss too.
Yeah.
Like his loss to Aljo was just so weird. And what's funny is
it happened like 20 seconds?
Marlon Moraes, more than that, but it was like at least a minute or so, I want to say.
It was early.
But what's funny is Marlon Moraes freaking knocked Aljo into a different dimension like 2 years ago, I want to say. And then that's when Aljo kind of has gone on his tear,
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be interesting. I think obviously the biggest thing to me that stands out is 5'9", 70. He's 5'9" versus 5'5".
Mm-hmm.
70 inches for Sandhagen to 67 for Moraes. So he's going to be able to kind of, play the range game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not going to be, I think the biggest test for him is most likely going to be dealing with calf kicks, leg kicks, things of that nature. Maybe even, was it the fight against Moraes that Cejudo had that same kind of thing that happened to Sean O'Malley? Or was that a
Yes.
different fight?
Well, that was one because that fight, Marlon was winning for the first 2, maybe 3 rounds until
Because I want to say he shattered Cejudo's leg, dude. Like he beat that up
Cejudo
the
got
first
messed
like
up in those
couple
first couple
rounds,
rounds. Yeah.
and then he
This
came
was
back
last
and
summer.
just killed him. So
Yeah.
I think this one, he better be ready to get into a grind match because Moraes comes out and he freaking slugs.
This is a tough match if you're Corey Sandhagen. This is a tough matchup because Marlon Moraes, yeah, of course you might have the reach, but if Marlon is able to get in close, his cardio is solid and his striking is easily some of the best in the bantamweight division.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of power he has behind him in his in his smaller frame, it's unreal how good he is. And he gets out in flashes too. He'll throw like 5-6 strikes at a time. And so
I want to say, isn't he a Mark Henry guy?
is he a Mark Henry guy?
I thought he was Mark Henry. He trains over there with Frankie Edgar, I thought. Not
I
completely
do.
sure though.
Yeah, he's moved camp recently as November from under New Jersey from New Jersey under Mark Henry.
Oh,
And so now he's
probably because Frankie
ATT.
Edgar is a bantamweight now, and Cody Garbrandt's been freaking training over there too. So he's probably like, yeah, this is a little too packed for me now.
So he moved to top team.
Because they're all, one of them's going to probably fight each other pretty soon.
Hey,
so.
that's fun though. I do like seeing Moraes in top team could be something.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this fight though. Nonetheless, I personally think Marlon takes it though.
Really? Yeah. I mean,
so.
it's a tough one, man. He's a scary guy, dude.
He is.
His hands, when he lets his hands go, and I mean, he has really his game all around is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Those leg kicks are ridiculous. I think Sandhagen, though, he does have a chance. He does have a chance to put on a performance that could really set him up for possibly a title challenge or a title eliminator next. I think if he uses his range,
doesn't get the next one.
I don't know if Sandhagen can finish Moraes.
Mm-hmm.
I can see Moraes finishing Sandhagen.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Sandhagen wins a tough, outpoint battle for 5 rounds.
I feel better in this fight for Sandhagen if it's just 3 rounds he had to win. But if he's going to be in that cage for 5, what happens? Marlon Moraes, I think, is eventually just going to wear on him, and he's going to get him.
But I have the exact opposite feeling, dude. Do you remember the Cejudo fight?
Yeah, I just think Marlon fixed it, and I think
fair enough.
Corey Sandhagen, I think why that turnaround happened so well personally is because
he didn't take any damage at all.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, that
he just got choked out.
Yeah, and then also, but I don't know. The thing is that Henry Cejudo is or I'm sure none of us know this, but breaking news: he's a Olympic champion, Olympic gold medalist. I might add.
I was gonna say, you better get that color in there.
Triple C, man. He is a Olympic gold medalist. If you didn't know.
I want quadruple C. I want him to fight Volkanovski.
I want him to fight Valentina Shevchenko.
Amanda Nunes. She would beat his ass.
I think so.
That would actually be a pretty even fight, in my opinion.
I would make it happen, Dana. But I want to see this fight. Marlon Moraes wins, and Marlon Moraes gets the next title shot against Petr Yan.
Okay.
But you're a Sandhagen guy on this one.
Probably against my better judgment. I mean, you've already picked Moraes, so I have to pick Sandhagen,
Hey, works for me, man. That's what happens. You pick first, so you don't have to be in your situation. I'm looking forward to Saturday's card, though. And then with something I alluded to earlier, Blake, is a duo that I never knew I wanted, but now that I've seen it, I need it. Mike Perry and Darren Till is the best bromance out there in MMA right now.
I don't even know if it's a bromance though. It's
It,
like a
it's
love-hate thing. You know, it's
right.
like one second they're talking about how they're gonna raw dog each other, or their girlfriends or whatever, and then the next
Well,
minute
you
they're
see,
saying, I want to corner you, you
right.
know,
I
like
mean, Darren Till is the guy. He's the one putting his face on everyone, doing the face swaps. Do you
yeah.
see the one where he put his face on Mike Perry's girlfriend?
Dude, he's done so much with Mike Perry's girlfriend. Like
Right.
it's ridiculous. Like if you just go through Darren, I'm telling you, Darren Till's
His Twitter.
Twitter is must follow right now. Like
It's
this
so.
guy, he just has time on his hands right now. You know what I mean?
Hey,
So he's
ever
just
since
getting
quarantine
into it.
started, his Twitter, just like Bilal Muhammad's, Bully B right there, they are the best Twitter accounts in MMA right now, 100%.
For sure, Darren Till.
So good. And
But
what
I
do you
mean,
think
the
about
whole
him?
so if anyone doesn't know why we're even bringing this up,
Mhm.
it's just because Mike Perry came out the other day. It was a few days ago, and he came out and said, "Yeah, I have 2 corner spots open. One's obviously going to be my pregnant girlfriend Latori, and the other spots are open to whoever, like the highest bidder, basically
Mhm.
whoever gives me the most money." And Darren Till was like one of the first people to reply. He's like, "Yeah, I got 5,000 on it," and I think Perry's manager even commented, he's like, yeah, as long as his travel fees and all that stuff,
Mhm.
he's good to go.
Wait, you mean
That
his
would
manager?
be
Wait, Mike Perry's
insane.
manager? You mean Mike Perry, or does he actually have someone?
No, he actually I think it's Ibrahim Kawa or something like that. Or
I'm
Ibrahim
impressed. He actually has
Kawa.
someone.
Yeah, that's probably like the only good thing going for him right now. Because he doesn't have
I
I don't know where he's training or anything like that.
I in his garage by himself. Who
Latori holding the pads.
Bro, I need
Shoot.
to see Darren Till in Mike Perry's corner. I need
Darren Till
this.
and Mike Perry's corner would be the most insane thing ever. And you
Hey,
need to
that
have him
happens. Mike
mic'd
Perry's
up for
going
the whole
undefeated.
fight.
Imagine the behind the scenes for that.
I'm saying he goes and he sits on the stool. He's like, all right, how am I doing? He looks around. I saw this meme last night. He looks around. Both Latori and Darren are gone. He's just like, oh!
uh,
Get
I
raw
want this so
dogged.
bad. I want this so bad, dude. Like,
That would make my freaking year. That would totally salvage 2020 for me.
is it worth buying the pay per view just for this?
I would 100%. I don't think I've bought a pay per view yet this year. And I would 100%. I would 100% buy that. Actually, I did. You know what? I bought the Justin Gaethje versus. So I take that back. I definitely bought the Gaethje versus Ferguson one.
I have never paid for a pay per view, but just kidding. I only pay for pay per views ESPN.
Yeah, well, if we can't pay for them, we don't watch them. You know, we never
Exactly. I
can't
just
can't
I catch the highlights
can't
on
watch
Twitter.
it.
Catch the highlights on Twitter. UFC's posting their
Exactly.
stuff. That's how we get things here. Um, but I might actually pay for this pay per view. That's if that happens
Yeah, because I mean, I wouldn't want to miss a second of that, and I would probably like to rewatch it and just
every time. Yes,
have it in the archives.
I buy UFC Fight Pass for that.
I know that would be one way to get people to buy UFC Fight
Oh
Pass.
yeah,
I just have a strict Mike Perry and Darren Till card on
just
freaking Fight Pass.
just give me follow them around all the time with the camera and just take the don't even need to edit it. Just take the raw footage and put it on Fight Pass.
Dude, I would buy that easily.
Hey, UC, hit me up, bro. I got ideas, okay? Don't you worry. Don't you worry. And then if we want to talk about pay-per-views and we want to talk about buying pay-per-views, the guy that always has the most pay-per-view buys is, of course, the notorious Conor McGregor. And over the last month, there's just been over the last since June, really. There's everything going on with him. It's just been weirder than usual. So he retired in quotation marks, June 6th after the UFC 250 event. He's been going through some things. Was he ever really retired? Who knows? He's still in the pound for pound rankings on UFC website, so there's no way he's not actually retired. Daniel Cormier, he retired. He pulled out of the USADA testing pool. Conor McGregor has not pulled out of the USADA testing pool. In fact, we all saw this. He got tested on his yacht.
Yeah.
You saw the show up there on his yacht. So
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right? Imagine having to be USADA, those guys having to find his yacht and then go test. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't even know how you make that happen. That's That's honestly the
USADA is all
craziest thing.
knowing. So the thing is, USADA could go to someone's yacht in Ireland, but they can't look underneath the cage for a John Jones.
God, that is honestly just so wild to me.
Yeah, that's crazy. But so obviously, Conor McGregor, he's not retired. He has an exhibition fight, a sparring fight for charity scheduled with Dustin Poirier in December. So that's super cool. I of course probably going to want to watch that. But the thing is, especially with the UFC 256 main event of Usman and Burns having to be pulled or scrapped because of injury to Usman, that leaves an opening on 256. And the only man that could headline a pay-per-view without having a championship on the line, that's Conor McGregor, Blake. So can we see Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier, UFC 256?
I mean, I think it's 100% in Dana White's. The ball is in his court, is what I gotta say. With all the screenshots that McGregor posted a little while back, we kind of saw what's been going on behind the scenes. I mean,
McGregor is telling the truth. That's
what I'm saying. He's not really lying. He said, "I want a season. This 2020 was supposed to be my season." He was throwing out names that he wanted to fight. He wanted to fight Gaethje.
That was supposed to take place
rather than
at,
later.
World Fight Week or
Well,
International Fight Week.
He wanted to fight Gaethje in May, and then Dana was saying, "No, let's do it July, International Fight Week." Blah 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 blah. That's the next possible date I could get for you.
That would have been sick.
And there was just so much back and forth. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I'm pretty sure they're still up in there, or you can just search on Google and you can find it easily. But it was just crazy to get kind of like an inside look at their negotiations, and not like you were bringing up too, the way that Dana White texts.
Right. See, that's what I want to ask you about, Blake. Out of the screenshots, what surprises you most?
The use of that sun emoji.
What's more surprising? Conor McGregor telling the truth, or the way Dana White texts?
I'm both. I mean, I don't know. I think McGregor's a pretty true. He's really lied too much about really important stuff.
That's fair. But Dana White's texting.
Dana White is just sus. I don't know.
I mean, Dana White, that only adds to the enigma that is Dana freaking White. So
he's one of a kind, that's for sure.
I would love to see this fight, man. But there's another. Are you
saying
fight.
you would love to see the exhibition match, or you would love to see the actual fight
inside the octagon? Give me McGregor and Poirier too.
But like I was saying, the ball's in Dana White's court, because what was the whole argument started over, right? What's their whole dispute over? It's
Dana. Just gate. Pay him. Just pay him, please.
It's money and the gate and the fact that they're not going to be able to completely profit off of him.
Hey, the things you're going to get that pay-per-view buys though, and I think right now, pull the trigger. It's going to be good, but also another boxing fight that might be in store for Conor McGregor is with Manny Pacquiao. I don't care. I don't care about this. I really don't.
You already know how I feel about boxing, so
the Mayweather fight with McGregor was extremely cool because it was historical. It was a clash of the biggest guy in boxing against the biggest guy in UFC.
Well, and there was still that unknown.
Yeah, exactly. And to Conor McGregor's credit, he did push Mayweather. He won the early rounds too. You could argue that. He looked way better than anyone thought he would. So if McGregor actually trained boxing, I could see him being legitimately good. But he lost to Mayweather. Pacquiao, going back to this whole controversy, he lost to Mayweather too. I don't see, besides money, I don't see a point to this fight.
Yeah, he'd get crazy money though. Him and the UFC would get crazy money.
Hey, why do you think Dana even let him fight Mayweather in the first place?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
dollar bills.
Money talks. Money talks.
Especially if your name is Dana White. Conor McGregor just prints money.
Right.
So, what do you think is the most likely thing in this situation? Do you think he fights at 256? Do you think he fights Pacquiao? What do you see for Conor McGregor? Does he even fight this year? Does he fight next year? What do you think?
If I was betting money, I wouldn't bet money on him fighting this year. Me personally, what I would want to see the most, I agree with you. I'd love to see him fight on the December card date. Was 256?
Yeah, for 256.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to see him fight on that card. That would just be unbelievable. I'd be super happy. And
That's a Christmas come early.
I think I was seeing I think Ariel was tweeting about it. It was either Ariel and I think Coach Kavanaugh commented on it. He was saying something about like that's was that when he beat Aldo or no, that wasn't when he beat Aldo. Let me see if I can find it might have been when he beat up Eddie Alvarez. Let me see.
Mm-hmm. I'm a little disappointed about Usman and Burns fight being scrapped again. It's a little more understandable with Usman having the injury, but man, there is a huge hole in that UFC 256 card. And imagine Blake, if Conor McGregor 2020, he starts the year off in January and he ends the year in December. That would be something, right?
Yeah.
That's one hell of a way to kind of salvage 2020. Damn, if we could just end the year with a Conor McGregor fight.
UFC 256 is exactly 5 years ago to the day of McGregor's KO of Aldo. Does he return to the scene of arguably his greatest triumph before the year is out? The door is now a little more open.
Ooh.
And then Coach Kavanaugh replied with just the emoji that has like no lips or anything, just like a blank face, just the eyes. And then he also had another tweet that was literally just 12, 12, 12. And then it had a proper 12 bottle just doing a little dance.
Dude.
And then he also commented on the tweet of Ariel that said the Usman versus Burns UFC welterweight title fight is off with the same emoji I was just telling you about earlier, the faceless.
It's happening, Blake. It's happening. This is where business is done. This is where fights are made. Twitter. See, I don't like. I had to be on Twitter to because, which of course you should follow us at Fourth Long Radio. So I had to be there. I'm on Twitter way too much than the typical person should be.
But there's just too much. I don't see the thing is that's different with me and you though. We don't get in that whole BS where people go and look at all this crap and get in arguments.
No, I tweet to be funny. Which is, we legitimately have a good Twitter account because you should follow us. A lot of great stuff right there. Blake used to argue with people on our behalf back in the early days of the show.
Calm that down.
On the early days of the show. So, like, damn near a year ago.
If you say something crazy enough, I might reply to you. Who knows?
Hey, that's how you get it. That's how you get it.
Start a conversation.
Really want to be crazy.
Call me an asshole.
Leave, right? Leave something extremely crazy in your review, in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, and Blake will get back to you. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. I'll send you a care package.
Right. I am just going full aluminum foil. Blake from Twitter. This fight's happening at UFC 256. I'm just...
Put your tinfoil hat on?
I'm putting the tinfoil. The tinfoil hat is on.
Nice.
They are fighting. They're going to get that rematch. We're not going to see the Conor McGregor, even to throw more icing on the cake. Conor McGregor will shave his head again, like he had when he first fought Dustin Poirier. So he's just going to go all back to that.
I would love it. I would love every second of that.
It's Dana. It's so easy to do this. Literally, just pay them, and you're going to be printing money from the pay-per-view buys straight up.
I'm saying McGregor Poirier rematch. I think that does at least 1.5 to 1.75. I'd say. How much did the Cowboy one do?
Got like 1.6.
Yeah, so I think it'd be a little over that.
And Conor McGregor
Poirier is a legit,
2 million. 2 million. You heard it here. They're breaking the 2.
It would be close, I think. It would be really, especially if you had to build up, you advertise that right.
It'd be so easy to advertise that too. So
and play some of the Cletus clips that he has. Your cousin Cletus clip, dude. McGregor killed him in that build up. Oh my god, there was like steam coming from Dustin's ears in every freaking presser.
Yeah, that was rough. I think Poirier is going to do a little better now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm almost
more
excited
to see
better
Poirier fight now. That's going to be much
Poirier
better
is
fight.
so much better. He's really filled into that lightweight division.
He was not, honestly, like, not to insult him, but he was kind of a nobody at that point. At least compared to where he is now.
When they first fought,
yeah.
When they first fought, they were both huge up and comers.
Well, but nothing proven. Now they both
Nothing solidified yet.
no.
Yeah.
So that was a huge fight at the moment, but now they're a different spot. They're both very proven fighters. So there's a lot on the line again, and we need it straight up. Just need it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to wrap it for us today. About time. There's a lot going on in the UFC world. We covered about 10% of stuff because, it just keeps on happening daily. UFC, it's one hell of a world to keep up with, but damn, is it fun. Blake, very, very nice to have you make your reappearance here. Nice to have our UFC correspondent back, and nice to talk some just this crazy world we live
Talk
in.
about people punching each other in the face.
Damn right.
Can't beat that, dude.
Who doesn't want that?
You can't
And
beat that.
like just like every time we have to end our UFC shows, man, is it a great time to be a UFC fan.
Absolutely.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Anchor, anywhere else you get your podcasts, Twitter, Instagram, www.thefourthandlong.com, and a lot of the good stuff going up. We just had our week 4 NFL breakdown. Go catch that. Go catch that, and have a great time watching these fights on Saturday. Have a great time counting down until UFC 254. But besides that, guys, we will catch you in the next show. Have a good one.